Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Winnie Rodgers. Excited to chat with you guys today. Please, please, I beg of you, put on your camera. This will make everybody's life so much better. I'm a highly energetic person, so I will keep your attention. I promise, promise, promise. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yay, one person. Yes, you're the best. Thank you. Are you Kimberly or Mackenzie?
Kimberly.
Okay, cool. Hi,
Mc-
Courtney. Hi,
Say
Kimberly.
Mackenzie's sitting over here.
Yay. Hi, Mackenzie. Hi. Thank y'all so, so much. I am really, really excited about today, and I'm so excited to be able to support Leah during this awesome and exciting time for her. So I'm really, really excited to get started today, really about what we miss in branding and why it can cost us everything. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, get started. I'm a pretty like informal person. Feel free to comment, chat, like unmute yourself, all this kind of stuff, raise your hand, whatever you want to do. Like let's just like keep the energy up. So let's go ahead. All right, let me get this started. I know what I'm doing. Okay. So I believe I'm the first one of the crew to kind of get started on this process. Is that correct? Like in terms of like a guest person.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
kicking us off, Winnie.
So awesome. Yay. Okay, great. So I'm super excited about this. Hopefully, um, hopefully this is going to be really, really valuable. So today we're going to talk about branding overall, marketing, but really like I'm a systems girl. I'm the person that's like, oh, okay, like all that's great and grand, like thanks for the concept, but at the end of the day I want an actual sustainable, trackable, followable, duplicatable system to follow. So that's really a huge part of what we're going to talk about today. So one of the first questions I just want to kind of like ask you guys to just like simmer on yourself is, have you ever like posted on social media and not really gotten any traction? You're sending out all the newsletters, nothing's really happening. You're like, why am I even doing this? Like, it almost feels like it's a gigantic waste of time. And it's like, I don't know, a succubus of your time. And one of the things that a lot of agents do is they kind of chase this like visibility before they even kind of settle into like clarity around it. And not everybody does. But overall, like whenever you're just putting out, branded material and everything, sometimes it can break trust. So that's why we want to really focus on, how to build that trust whenever we're building our actual brand. So let's see. So oftentimes, what can happen is your actual branding can fail to align your strategy with your actual identity. So your brand strategy with your actual identity of like who you are, not just as a person, but also as an agent. And what can also happen is a lot of agents, because maybe you didn't go to school for graphic design, like you can have bad design, or what's actually worse is inconsistent design. And that's actually what I see most of when I'm working with my clients in the field. And then also, they never, like, oftentimes agents never take the time to create an actual sustainable strategy, one that's duplicatable, one that has systems. And so what ends up happening is a lot of agents can put out there like branding that doesn't have a backbone, branding that doesn't have a voice, branding that doesn't feel aligned. And what that does for us as agents is it makes it more annoying to do. We're like, oh my gosh, I like hate putting this out there. I hate writing my newsletter. I hate like posting on social media. I hate editing these videos. And a lot of the times it's because we haven't taken the time to like identify what the purpose is, to build out really strong, gorgeous designs that reflect us inside and outside. And then what happens is a lot of your clients can feel it. So sometimes they can just feel like, I guess, like a subtle dissonance of like, well, I see this stuff that my agent's putting out, I'm getting their newsletters, I'm getting their mailers, etc., but like something just doesn't quite seem to add up. And they don't necessarily know why it doesn't add up. But overall, like let's just think about it real quick. If you're putting out branding that feels inconsistent, your clients might think that you're inconsistent. If you're putting out branding that might feel a little bit dated, your clients might think that your marketing is a little bit dated, right? So, even if they can't quite put their finger on it, they can't quite understand, like, all right, well, what is it about, the digital content that this agent is putting out that just like doesn't quite fit with me? They can still feel it, and they're still gonna, I mean, honestly, they're gonna judge, right? They're gonna sense something about it based on their perspective and their scenario. And so that's a huge thing. And one thing that's, as we'll go through this, you guys will really, really notice that, like, you can have a voice, you can have an edge, you can have a unique value proposition that is bold, but still doesn't detract or doesn't kind of alienate others. And I think a lot of the times we as agents, we're like, oh, we want to be one to many. And so we want to be, I don't, I mean, really what I'm going to say is generic. We want to kind of appeal to everyone. And what happens is we actually appeal to no one. And you guys are going to see my design today. And here's the thing, my design is not for everyone. My aesthetic is not for everyone. My content marketing strategy is not for everyone. But what I also know is that it doesn't alienate people either. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of agents just think, like, oh, if I lean too hard into X, Y, and Z, then I'm going to start to alienate people. And like, I'm just here to kind of like debunk that myth. People want someone that actually like stand for something, that know who they are, that have a point of view, that their audio matches their video. Have you ever met somebody that maybe you've seen them online and you met them in real life and you were like, oh my gosh, you're nothing as I expected? Like, I'm just calling BS on that. Like, that's not cool. So, like, we want to make sure that, like, who we are offline, in real life is who we are online as well. And there's, it's just, it makes your life easier too, because it creates a more sustainable strategy. So I'm going to share with you just a teeny bit about me. So I do have 20 years digital marketing. So over 20 years digital marketing experience, like digital marketing, graphic design, content strategy, email newsletters. This was my background before real estate. And when I launched, so a couple of years ago, I launched REM Real Estate Marketing. And really, it was because I kept seeing all of these agents, so I teach and train across the country. I'm KWU certified, all that kind of stuff. So I teach and train all the time, and I see all these agents, and they're amazing. And especially the spear-based agents, like you're getting like this, you're getting just like these recurring clients. They love you, they're evangelicals for you. But what I've seen is that their graphic design just doesn't reflect the quality of their customer service. And that's a huge piece, like we know that companies that have quality design and quality content strategy are oftentimes gaining market share. And especially in this market, I think it's more important that we assert ourselves at a more bold level to be able to pull in that market share and really gain those clients for life. Like, I'm all about gaining clients for life so that nobody ever quits me and nobody ever would even consider that any other agent in Charleston, South Carolina should like serve them. So, and over the last couple of years, I've been able to help more than 1,500 real estate agents build their brand. So, I'm really excited to be able to bring this to you and build a brand that's really consistent and aligned with you really deeply. So we're going to talk first about kind of the first step to take the time to align your brand. So you want to take the purposeful time to build out your actual values. And I'm going to show you what this looks like at the end so you can actually see this in practice. But when I do a full day or 2-day course called the branding series, and so we actually workshop this together, which is really cool. So what we do is we build out all of your values. We identify what is your voice. And your voice isn't, obviously like the octave, right? But your voice is, warm, grounded, irreverent, cheeky, direct, whimsical. You know what I mean? Like kind of how these things do. And also some of your unique phrases that you say a lot as well. I think that's really an important thing because that's once again how your audio is going to match your video when it comes to your content strategy versus who you actually are in real life when people finally get to the opportunity to meet you. And then what is your vision for your real estate business? So your values, those are just inherent. Those are in here, right? And if you haven't taken the time to align what your values are and then make sure that they align with your voice and they align with your vision for your business, then what happens is you're just out of whack and you're out of alignment, out of balance. So the first things first would be identify three values that you have that transcend to your real estate business. And here's the deal. A value is, and there's all sorts of great exercises on Pinterest. It has like the best exercises for value exercises. Is actually, I have some of mine right here. Fun fact, I like did not wasn't expecting to show you guys this, but these are literally, it's like all these flashcards of value words. And so you categorize them. So let's see, I'm literally going to pull this out of a hat. That my first one is trust, trusting in myself and others. My next one is compassion. And then my next one is embodiment and alignment, and then spirituality. So, all of these things, so you can determine what your values are. So, that could be family, your faith, anything related to like health and fitness, things like that. So, identify what your values are. And then also identify what are some characteristics of your voice. There's some really great activities also to identify your voice characteristics. And some of those would be your overall dimension of your voice. Like I'm pretty sarcastic and kind of irreverent and stuff like that, but I can be, and I'm chatty. I talk a lot. So those are kind of like all encompassing things that always happen. And then there's also going to be characteristics of your voice. So there's dimension, and then there's characteristics of your voice. And characteristics are the things that pop in here and there, like here and there. So I can get really, really nerdy on a topic sometimes. So maybe nerdiness would be, a characteristic that pops in on my voice. So, whenever you take the time to align this, what this does with your content marketing strategy is it creates an alignment or a bridge. So, think about it's the bridge of who you are in real life and the bridge of how you show up in your content marketing strategy. And your content marketing is your digital content, your print content, your social media, newsletters, postcards, like everything. It's really also your customer service, your phone mail message, like your voicemail message. It's everything. It's the level of white glove service or more chill service that you provide to your audience. And one just stat for my stats folks is 92% of marketers feel that authenticity is, quote, crucial in building your marketing strategy. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, I should act a certain way because I'm a real estate agent, or I should dress a certain way, or I should speak a certain way, I'm here to challenge that and say, yeah, actually, maybe shouldn't. When I think of the word should, I think that should is an outside in job. And I believe that embodying who we are and having our content marketing strategy align with that is being an inside out person. Does that make sense? Can you kind of like sense what I mean by that? It's not an outside pressure, it's just an embodiment where we get to expand and grow into, the law of attraction really is a huge part of how this is. And it also helps to make you believable once again, like, we've met those people that their audio doesn't match their video and we immediately trust down the pot, right? Immediately. Um, by show of hands or however you want to, has anybody taken the class yet called Value Squared? Doesn't look like. Okay. So Value Squared is a Keller Williams class. It teaches you specifically how to assert your unique value proposition as a fiduciary versus a functionary um, to your clients, basically, so that it was whenever all of the cooperative compensation, like legal stuff was happening. But one of the things that they talk about in that class, which just really hit me, is that so trust is there's four different pieces of trust. The first one is empathy. Do you care about me? I'm going to make the broad assumption that all of you care about your clients. Because if you weren't, or if you didn't, then you probably wouldn't be here learning and appreciating them. And you probably wouldn't have repeat clients either. The second one is knowledge. Do you know what to do? Okay, cool. Most of you probably know what to do. If not, you guys are in coaching to learn what to do. So we can say that those two are pretty easy. Like those, like we got. The last two are harder. The third one is transparency. And transparency, the way that I see that is forthright or proactive honesty. So not being reactive, but being proactive. That one can be hard because we sometimes take, you know, we take for granted that our clients might know the process a little bit, right? But the last one, the last of the four elements of trust is the big one. And this is the one that we break with our branding the most often. And that is reliability. Dependability. Are you going to do what you said you're going to do? So once again, if your branding doesn't match who you are, if your content strategy doesn't match who you are, if your customer service doesn't match who you are, then you're degrading trust. And we know that clients work with people that they know, like, and trust, right? They so get allow them an opportunity to get to know you, allow them a piece of you to get to like, to get to actually enjoy. And then be consistent, reliable, dependable. These are like words that just roll in my head like all the time, to be able to build that trust with your clients, because that's how, yes, we keep them. That's how we get the 5-star reviews. That's how we get the repeat clients. And that's how we get the referral business, right? But here's the thing, your branding is a big part of it. And once again, it can seem like an afterthought and it really shouldn't be. So hopefully I've hammered that home. So your homework for this particular, or your call to action for this particular part, is identify 3 values that are really important to you. And you, like I said, you can do an activity, a values activity. Identify your voice. What are some characteristics of your voice? What are some elements of your voice? And I'm also going to just kind of, as an aside, if you are using AI, this is even more imperative. If you are using AI to build any of your verbiage, any of your copy content, that AI needs to know your voice verbatim. So you need to record everything. You need to have, like I say, like and legit and so and rad and like all these types of words. Your AI needs to know your voice so well that it can actually write like you, or else it sounds like a freaking robot, man. Like that's gross. That's weird. Everybody can tell. So take the time to align what your voice is, especially if you're using AI as well. Any questions about the alignment or a call to action for this? Cool. All right. Now, the next one is focusing on design. So here's the thing, design is the silent ambassador of your brand. Design is also the visual language of credibility. And I'm going to say that one again because that's a big freaking deal. Design is a visual language of credibility. So if your design is, once again, crappy, dated, inconsistent, boring, then those are the characteristics that you're showcasing to the world, right? So it's the visual language of credibility. Think about your brochures, your yard signs, your voicemail message, like your follow-up system. All of this is part of your brand, even if it isn't necessarily part of your visual identity. So the other things about design overall, like, yes, it can build credibility. We talked about that. It can build trust. We talked about that. It can also be a huge piece of leverage. So for instance, you're hosting an open house. It's very busy. There's 10 people in the open house, but you have a flyer. So somebody can pick up the flyer. They can walk around the house. They can see, oh, this house has 4 bedrooms and 2.5 baths, right? What that is that's actually leveraging you, right? So that you don't have to say, oh, this bedroom or this house has 4 bedrooms and 2.5 baths. It also can leverage, that you have a house for sale with a yard sign, right? It seems like no duh, but we just oftentimes like don't think about how important design can be and your branding can be to leverage yourself. For instance, and you're going to see my brand here in a second, when people see my brand, they expect certain things from me when they meet me. And that's because they already maybe feel like they know me. They already feel like they have some of the characteristics of me. So and I take this as a huge compliment. I've had several people say, "Wow, Winnie, you're exactly what I expected you to be." And like that's kind of cool. Like people don't say that. Like I look like I look almost all the time. I sound like I sound. Like when you see me online, when you read my captions, when you get my newsletter, you're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, that's so Winnie." That's what we want y'all's clients to feel as well. Also, Southern, hello. Wow, that came out really good. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. And so bringing that out, like we want your clients to almost like feel like they know you ahead of time. And that's part of why design is so important because it can leverage your time so that you can honestly do less building trust, do less building credibility, right? And then the other thing is it can make you a key differentiator. I literally, true story, true story. I had a guy that called me. He was like, "Hi, my name, my name's Chris. I got your postcard." I was like, "Cool, cool, great, you know?" And he's like, "You don't look like those boring realtors." And I was like, "Oh my God, it worked. I'm not one of those boring realtors." I was like, "Oh my gosh, it worked." So all this to say, like, now did I alienate people with my postcard? No. But I just showed up a little bit different. I'm not saying you have to be like in your face necessarily. I do think that my branding is more bold than a lot of folks. However, like just to just set yourself apart. It's, like I said, so many agents are boring and y'all aren't boring. We're fun. Okay. Like we've been to the conferences. We are fun. So let people know that. Now I'm gonna just this is me being hateful and savage for a second. But you guys, this is the ugliest flyer ever in the history of the world. Y'all know it is. Y'all, here's the thing. Y'all have seen this. Y'all have seen this. Like there are agents that really do this. Okay. Loving this. The stock photos are great. Like the more than one fonts, like inconsistent fonts, inconsistent colors. All of this is saying is you are inconsistent. This one is one of my personal favorites because this QR code up in the corner, you can't even scan that. Do you see the QR code or did you have to look twice? Exactly. You're squinting to see it. Like that's the other thing about design is design needs to have high contrast. Like that there's elements of graphic design that are really important. So you need to have high contrast. You look at mine, white on a very stark white background or a stark like dark background, right? This one, I have to be honest with you guys. At least she's leaning into like her love of like a little French provincial, like a little fleur de lis vibe. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like as mad about this one, but you can't see anything. It's so hard to read. And I know that not everybody is a graphic designer. I get it. But this is one thing that I recommend potentially leveraging out if this isn't your skill set. You can just leverage it out once and be done and just to be able to one differentiate you but also to make it feel like you and to make it be quality, right? Okay, so I've called it out. That was my hateful moment. Okay, we're going to be nice again. So this is what I build out for all of my clients, and this is one of the things you guys are going to get a blank template with this so that you can build this out for your brand. Okay, so I'm all about like organized systems, spreadsheets, templates, because I like duplicatable, right? Sustainable. I want it to be the exact same thing. So this is my brand style guide. So you can see a little bit about, my logo. I have some patterns or shapes, colors, all this kind of stuff. Now let's see what this looks like into play. Like you guys have known me now 25 minutes, okay? Do you guys think that you guys could potentially stereotype a couple of things about me? First question, Stephanie, I'm going to show you my postcard. First question, what kind of music do you think I listen to? Stereotype me, like fully. I like can't wait to see. You can unmute too. That my name does help. Country music, is that because I'm Southern? It could be because I'm Southern. I'm like, I was trying to think of like the tattoos. Stevie Nicks, yes, you are like so on track with that one. Indie, yes, yes. I love 80s music, rock music, overall rock. Yes, I am a rock and roll girl. Okay. I love this. This is so fun. But that's the thing is like just from, knowing this about me for a few minutes, but this is the level of, an opportunity for how quick somebody can get to know you, right? And think about your clients. And here's the deal. Do all my clients like rock music? No. Do all my clients have tattoos? No. However, my clients love that I'm me. And that's the thing. And because the more we are ourselves, the more it empowers. I'm definitely a foodie and a cocktail girl. The more we can like be ourselves, you get it. The more our clients are empowered to be themselves around us, right? Like that's what we want. We want to be able to like basically cut the BS, right? To get like a real conversation where we can like actually have like meaningful conversations where we don't have to just, small talk our way through them. So here's a little bit of my branding. And I have so you can see here, so my colors are Charleston colors. I'm an 11th generation Charlestonian. It's something that I'm very, very proud of. So this color is actually, believe it or not black. It's Charleston green. And there's a whole story around that. If you know anything about Charleston, it's really cool. So each of these colors are Charleston colors. So goldenrod yellow, it's a color that's like oftentimes on our front doors in our community. But then you can see like my vibe, right? Like tattoos, little deco, a little pin-up-y. Like I love like a little 60s retro situation, and 70s retro situation. Voice, cheeky and hopefully authentic. Like, and you can see here's how my voice shows up. So you see right here where it says cheers to you, and then it's like, well, hello there. And this one's a keeper. So my yard signs say, "Hey, I'm new here," and "Sorry, I'm taken." Once again, you don't have to lean in that hard. Don't get me wrong, but like already, once again, it's just like it's a pattern interrupt for people instead of all these boring signs that we see, instead of all this like boring stuff that we see everywhere. I just think like how many agents, and I mean, y'all, like literally, I teach this class all the time. It's like my flagship class. I've like taught it on stage and stuff. And so many people, they're like, well, mine's very like clean and modern. Cool. So is everybody else's. Like, so is everybody else's. Like, and I love that. I am in my maximalist era, so it's a little bit of a different situation. I've always been in a maximalist era. I mean, you've seen, you get it. Um, so, but that's what we want to be able to see is like, how can we just showcase just like one or two things? And I'm not saying like go every single solitary thing needs to be just like, you know, just like gaudy or anything, but just choose like one or what are a couple of like super cute things that you can do that are unique to you. If you're like, oh, I love fishing. I'm not saying have a fish in your logo, but you can totally use like some like fishing language related to, maybe your salutation in your email, right? Or your salutation in all of your content. So I do use a strong salutation in all my content. I say, so when I don't really do open houses a ton anymore, but when I did open houses a lot, I would always hand them the thingy, right? You hand them the thing and I say, fill this out, give me feedback, good, bad, or ugly, just holler if you need me. And that's literally what I would say because I'm country. So and I just started ending all my captions, like all my social media captions with like holler if you need me. And I don't mean like holler like or holla in like the cool hip holla back girl kind of way. I mean it in a I'm country and we holler like for dinner time kind of a way. So like that's just like something that I leaned into. And it like I said, it doesn't necessarily matter what it is, but that it's unique to you and that it's duplicatable, that it's consistent, reliable, dependable. That's just like one of the ways that you can just subtly show to your clients that like you are who you said you were over and over and over again. I will look up these, but there's so many great, like look up my keychains. I don't remember offhand, but you can message me and I can figure it out. I have tons. Oh, so I'm a glasses girly. So I gave out like I have like the little terry cloth glasses things, and it says, "Hey, looking sharp, babe." So I wanted to say like, "Hey, good looking," but I thought that might be a little bit too flirty. So I was like, "Oh, I don't know," but I might do that because. because YOLO, let's go. So is seeing an actual like set, like, does this feel like a set kind of when you look at it? Cool. So that's what we want is we want it to look like a set, like an actual collection of information. Like that's what we want all of your visual identity to look like is a collection. Think about like a curated home. Okay, I feel like let's make sure that I said everything. Oh, I do want to say one other like stat for my stat folks. 94% of first impressions are design related. 94%. So if you think like, oh, I'll get to that later, mm, love that. But 94% of first impressions are design related. So once again, making sure that you're not looking dated or inconsistent is really, really important. Because your design it isn't just an aesthetic, it's a signal, you know? Okay, so your call to action is I have that little brain sheet, this thing right here. I have this. So your call to action would be to fill that out. And if you have 5 colors, that's fine. Anywhere from 3 to 5 colors max, you guys. And anywhere between 1 and 3 fonts max, but really 1 to 2 fonts is better. Okay. I teach this in my branding class, but I figured I'd give you guys the quick and dirty. Okay. Now, the third thing, so we talked about you need to take the time to align, then you need to focus on design. Now, strategize or die, which is a skating reference from the 1980s. But well, I did this at a family reunion, and one person gave me like the like I don't know like little skater symbol. I was like, oh, this is great. So one of the things that happens super often is you think, okay, I know who I am, my brand is ready, but I don't know what to actually post. Here's the thing. If you don't know what to post, it's because you don't have a content strategy. The good news is that, believe it or not, we've actually been building a content strategy throughout this call so far. Oh my gosh, who knew? So if you don't have like a lot of people think that a content strategy is just a calendar, like a content calendar. That isn't actually the case. Your strategy has a few different elements. So it tells you what to do, but it also gives guardrails on what you're not posting, what you're not sharing. And that's one of the things that I love the most about it. So it isn't just a calendar, but it should ask, um, why are you posting this? Why are you putting it in your newsletter? Why are you putting it in the postcard? Why are you posting on social media? So what is the actual purpose? Is it to get leads? Is it to gain brand awareness? Whatever it is it to help to market a listing? All good and gravy, but understand what it is. The next one is who is this for? Make sure that like I think this is really hard, but oftentimes like we do look at things from a real estate point of view and from a should because we're told like what we should post as a real estate agent. But just remove your real estate hat for a second and be like, if I got this in the mail, if I got this in my newsletter, would I give a crap? Like, truth be told, like, would I actually even care? Because if the deal is no for you, probably the same for your audience, right? So make sure that you're considering who you're posting this to so that you know, like, is this even valuable information? And then the next thing that a content strategy should help to answer is what do you want your client or your audience to feel, believe, or do? What do you want them to feel, believe, or do? Do you want them to feel urgency that they need to click something or that it's the right time to sell or something like that? Do you want them to believe that you are the best person to help them market and sell their home? Do you want them to click something? Do you want them to fill out a form? Do you want them to DM you, call you? So what do you want them to do, believe, or feel? Now, we're going to go into because like I said, nerd, right? Nerd alert. So we're going to go into like what are the elements of a content strategy? So a content strategy has a few things. One, it identifies what your pillars are, and your pillars are the lanes by which you speak. Now, the good news is that I'm going to give you a couple of your pillars so that you can just be done with it. But your pillars are what you're saying and why you're saying it. or what you're posting and why you're posting it, etc. Then there's your platforms. Your platforms are where you're posting and how you're sharing that information. So where the platforms are your where and how. So that could be, for instance, how could be print versus digital, newsletter, etc. Um, and I do want to just give a quick aside that I would always recommend focusing on a long form digital content platform before repurposing for your short form. And that is based on search engine optimization and generative engine or AI optimization. So you want to make sure that you say you do a long blog post, a long YouTube video, post it on Substack, then share it in your newsletter, then share it on Instagram or TikTok, right? Because what's happening is you're using consistent language, and believe it or not, AI likes trust. It's also AI. AI's first value word is trust and credibility, which means that if you're saying the same thing in your blog and you're saying the same thing in your Substack and you're saying the same thing in your newsletter and you're saying your same thing on YouTube and you're saying your same thing on TikTok and AI and Instagram, AI is going to be like, wow, that is consistent, and consistent equals trust. So we're going to pull that result. So just know that it isn't even just cute that we want to be super freaking consistent. It is science. It is actual like data. It is technology that we want to be consistent with. And then we also want to talk about like your keywords, which are just how you would search for something, your calls to action, which we talked about before, and then also your frequency, otherwise known as your cadence. So you can, for instance, it can be, all right, well, I do once a month newsletters and but twice a month blogs and 3 times a week Instagram posts and things like that. Here's the deal. All of the algorithms reward consistency over frequency. I think some people are like, oh my God, you're not going to get anything unless you post like 5 times a day and post 20 times a day in your stories. Listen, I don't know about y'all, but I ain't got time for that. I don't want to do it, and it does depend if, say, Instagram is your number one lead source. So for me, Instagram is not my number one lead source. It is a secondary one that validates my brand, that validates my customer service, that validates my efficacy and in my sales. So keep that in mind. And also as a touch point to just make sure, like that whack-a-mole, you want to just poke your head up and be like, remember me? Remember me? And that's how digital marketing can be for you as well. So I focus on a content strategy, which is a system over trends. Trends, like I just think to myself, like, I don't want to sing for my supper. I know who I am. I don't need to follow a viral trend. Now, if the viral trend happens to be in aligned with your value system, if you're like a big recipe person and there's a trend related to recipes, cool. Love that. That's cute. But if it's outside of your value system and your content strategy, then literally all you're doing is chasing a trend. You're not actually embodying who you are as an agent and as who you are as a person. So I personally am very skeptical of trends. Also, like, I want consistency. I want consistency over time. I want steady growth. I want to know that I'm going to be able to eat in 6 months, not just tomorrow. So when we look at your pillars, the the first pillar for you guys, if y'all are taking notes, you can write this down. The first pillar is real estate. And I'm going to show you guys mine here in a second. Your second pillar is likely going to be your community that you serve, whether that's locally or if you have a target audience specifically. Say for instance, you're like, I only work with military or veterans. So you can identify what those are. So let's take a look at a real life person's strategy. So this is mine. So this is for Winnie Income. This is my brand. So you can see for real estate and within each pillar, and I would say you can have between 4 to 6 pillars maximum. Maximum. Okay. Because we want to be consistent. We want to be focused. We don't want to confuse our audience. We ourselves, we are multidimensional, paradoxical human beings. I understand that. But for the purpose of a content marketing strategy, you want to be highly focused. So what I do with my clients and in my workshops is we identify 4 to 6 pillars. Each pillar has between 2 and 4 topics. Okay. So you can see right here, I have real estate. Copy mine. There it is. like done. Housing would be just listed, just sold, new developments coming up, anything like that, right? Market updates, testimonials. Cool. Copy it. The next one for me, because here's the deal. I know that my Instagram audience is actually primarily agents. I know that I have my VIP client newsletter and then I have an agent to agent referral partner newsletter. So I have different audiences. So, but agents, agent to agent referral partners and referrals is a huge part of my business. Also, I serve Charleston, South Carolina. Happy to serve your clients. But so I know that my audience is a lot of agents. So I want to make sure that I'm sharing with them that I'm teaching, that I'm available to be booked to teach, right? I want to make sure that they know that I'm a great Charleston area referral partner. I want to make sure that they also know about like that local agents know about local real estate events because participating in profit share is something that I'm also passionate about. So these are my strategies for that. And then my third strategy is Charleston overall. So my community, like I said, if I served a particular audience, I would have my audience as a community as well. But for me, I serve Charleston, so I feature local female entrepreneurs. My local female entrepreneurs, I'm not even gonna lie, and you guys are gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's so Winnie. My breathwork practitioner, my yoga instructor, my Reiki master. Like these are the people that I showcase in my local entrepreneurs. Then, of course, I have hotspots. I am a woman about town. I'm like not a homebody. I like to bop around. I love restaurants. I love rooftops. I love cocktails. I love food. I love markets, like anything like this. So I'm going to showcase hotspots. Here's the deal. You could be like, Winnie, I am not in that season of life. I am a gardener in a gardening season of life or a mom life season of life. Cool. That's great. What are the resources that your audience might need or like? Because those things aren't going to hit me, but they might hit you. We have a client that gardening and sustainable living is like a really big part of their life. So they have an entire sustainability pillar. So they talk about no plastics, like waste-free things, building sustainable gardens. Here's the deal. Is that going to alienate anyone by her leaning into her passion? No. And that's what I think a lot of agents think that we're going to alienate someone by actually leaning into something that we care about. And it's like, it's fully not. Winnie and Co. or W and Co. is Winnie and Co. Me, basically. This is the me strategy. Yeah. Um, and then of course, events around town. Now here's the deal. We just talked about like I'm not a mom life person. So events, I'm not going to post mom life events. I'm not a fisher. I'm not going to post fishing events. You know what I'm going to post? The cool Halloween events, the feminist makers markets, the like vintage thrifters and drifters markets, right? So I'm going to post like about concerts. I'm going to post like, oh, there's a cool jazz show that's doing Motown, right? So they're going to align with my value system and my like who I am, and once again, that's not going to alienate people. Like I have clients all the time that honestly are nothing like me, but they're like, Winnie, I have like my niece is coming into town and she wants to know like where to go to yoga. And I'll be like, okay, if she wants this type of yoga here, if she wants more earthy, crunchy here, if she wants more like bougie, high energy here, like I'm going to know those things. And my clients know that they can come to me for that. They're not going to come to me for a pediatrician, and that is okay. That is okay. I don't know a pediatrician. Yeah. So, and then the last couple for me, and this is what I invite you guys to do. So, we talked about, your two pillars of yours, no matter what, are going to be real estate and your community. Cool. The last two, and I'm saying at least two, I want them to be personal. I want them to be really personal. I want them to be related to one of your passions because you can, here's the deal, like with your digital marketing strategy, your content strategy, you can pull in people and then, oh, by the way, you're a real estate agent. Oh, I love to, fish. Oh, by the way, I'm a real estate agent. I love cooking. Oh, by the way, I'm a real estate agent, right? So people want to know a little bit like a peek behind the curtain too, like who you are. So putting all of this out there is a way. And then, oh, by the way, you're still practicing your real estate pillar. So you're still validating your brand, but you're pulling people in a way that honestly is less boring than real estate. Like, not for nothing, like a lot of people don't care about your just listing, just sold until it's relevant for them. So let's pull people in with the cool stuff that makes you you, that sets you apart, that you're passionate about, that you're drawn to, that you have a high level of skill set around. Maybe like I'm a contractor's daughter. That's one of the things like I post pictures of me like in a crawl space or on a roof sometimes. So like these are like what are the things about you that you can pull in and then whenever the time is right, they're going to already know like and trust you. And that's the thing is I don't know, I just feel like we like lean so much into real estate. Like we just have to be cool and nice and kind and interesting first, and then it's like, oh, by the way, we're a real estate agent whenever the time comes. And we're good at it. We do want to like validate, that we're strong in it. Um and some of this is just also a matter of like when I look at my strategy, none of this feels icky to post, right? Like some of the times, like when I see clients that are like, oh, I know I should post this. I'm like, ew, should you? Like, why? Like, if it just stresses you out to post it, or if you look at your stuff and you're not like, you don't like this doesn't bring you joy, then like, why are you doing it? Right. So, and people can smell that. People can smell it that you're just like, oh, I had to post a market update today. My market update, forgive my French, I didn't ask if I was allowed to cuss, but my market update is called Shit You Should Know. My clients love it. I was so scared to post it. I do like the little asterisk on it. I was so scared to post it. I got so many comments that are like, "Oh my God, I love this." And I'm like, "Thank God." You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes you just like you don't know that like it's really okay to just like super be yourself? Anyhow, let's see where I am. I get on asides and I get excited. Okay. All right. So this is where, because I'm a nerd, I want you guys to scan this. And then what will happen is a couple of things. So you're going to get a template for my brand style guide. It will show up as a Canva template, and then you can go in and populate that. One of the things I love about it is you populate it once, you put it in your Google Drive, you can upload it to AI. You can say, yo, these are my fonts, everything, like these are my colors. It's going to already have your stuff. Or you can pass it on to somebody that's doing operations or social media or content creation for you. And they have a brand style guide that is consistent. And consistency, reliability, dependency equals trust. Clients work with people they know, like, and trust. The other thing that's in here is the nerdiest thing that I've ever created, and it is a content strategy organizer. So it's a Google Drive spreadsheet. It's going to prompt you to copy it, and it has mine already populated in it since you guys have seen it so that you guys can, see the example from it. And then it has a blank version for you guys to put in what are your platforms? What are your goals? What are your systems? What are your between 4 and 6 pillars? What are your between 2 and 4 subtopics within your pillars? Right. So all of this is going to be in there for you guys to just create a system around building a sustainable brand that feels like you. Okay, let me make sure I didn't do anything else. All right. Any question about this? Did everybody get to scan this, hopefully? Cool. And if not, I'm sure I can get the team to send this to you as well. So just to kind of wrap up, and we'll have a little bit of time for Q&A if you guys have some questions. What we miss about branding really is that you don't need more, you just need better. You need better design. You need deeper connection to your values and your unique value propositions and your skills and your passions. You need more consistency, but more importantly, you just need more you. So, what we miss is really that we are oftentimes looking the part versus living it, you know, and that we really need to focus on strategy over trends, and that design really does matter. So remember that clarity builds trust and consistency builds confidence. And so the more you have clarity, the more you can build trust within yourself and more trust with your clients. And the more you have consistency, that builds confidence within yourself, but also confidence within your clients. So being your brand, be consistent, and then let the business just come to you. And then if you are curious about what it could look like working with my marketing agency, this is simply a little form. If you're curious about um, having help with, we do branding strategy sessions where it's kind of like one-time strategy sessions, whether it's your visual identity or your content strategy. Then we also do content management, social media management, and newsletter management. But that is it for me. I would love to hear maybe 3 or 4 takeaways and any questions that you guys may have. Please feel free to unmute. Free for all.
So I'm a fairly new agent. Hi, my name is Gina Zambrana, and I belong to a team. And one of the things that
Cool.
I've wondered is, and I know I need a brand for myself, but how deep do I go into that? Do I, because I already have the team's branding,
Yeah. So what I would do is I would have if your team has visual guidelines for their branding, you'll need to use those. However, your personality, your voice, some of your visual identity as it relates to the headshots that you choose, and especially your copy. So your copy is your captions, like the writing,
right?
your newsletter, those types of things. So I would say like you can keep some of it aligned, but here's the deal. The headshots that you choose can speak a lot, like outside of just the visual identity. Say for instance, they have a logo and you need to use their fonts. Okay, cool. Depending on the team, some of them have templates that they want you to use versus you can even create your own templates. So I would ask your team leader, what level of flexibility you have within those and, honor what they're putting out there, or what they request of you, and then like put your spin on it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Okay.
that here's the deal, like we can shine and most team leaders, most rainmakers want us to shine like almost beyond the brand, So like most of them in my experience are like super happy with you branding yourself and, creating some unique value propositions and differentiators for yourself.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great question. Who else? Takeaways or questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a lot of these pieces, which makes me feel ahead of the game a little bit, maybe.
Cool.
But I feel like there's definitely, I just hired a marketing assistant. She should be, I think
Mhm.
she's still on this call, in March, and we're trying to, I'm wondering if what you do is appropriate for like kind of buttoning things up, like kind of
Yes.
getting me to the next level with my marketing assistant.
Yeah, because that's what I'm a big systems girl and I build systems because they make my life easier. Just like I wear a uniform when I teach. High neck, black tank top, like always. And so I find where the gaps are and close up those. I'm
Okay,
just like such a systems girl because it makes your life easier and more
right
sustainable.
on.
And then you can
Okay,
go do the other stuff, build stronger relationships because you don't have to worry about that stuff.
okay, right on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. I would love to hear like a takeaway, like a mindset shift or something that kind of like, I don't know, you weren't necessarily expecting.
Well, my takeaway is that I should probably have more content pillars than I currently have, which I wasn't even thinking about until my marketing
Yeah,
assistant came on. So
cool.
that's where I was like, oh, there's definitely some things that we could probably with outside assistance get to faster than if because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So like,
Mm-hmm.
and she definitely knows way more than me, but there's the real estate gap, right? Like there's some gaps because
Yeah, yeah.
of just how we both exist in the world. So I think
Yep.
hearing like seeing your cohesiveness, I'm like, oh, there's definitely some things that could get me to the next level faster. So we'll
Yeah.
probably be
And once
reaching
you do
out.
it once, like you're done. Like that's one of the nice things is like that strategy guide, the content organizer and the brand style guide, like pass on to somebody and have them run the play, because it's consistent. There's lanes. Yeah.
I
Anybody
think some
else?
I think something that we do well is like having our look the same, but I tend to do all of the other pillars except for real estate in my stories. And maybe being more conscious about making actual posts about them so that they live in the grid and
Yes.
stuff too.
Yeah, yeah. So for instance, like if you go to underscore Winnie and Company on Instagram, you'll literally you'll because you guys know me like already now, right? You'll be like, oh my gosh, that's so Winnie because there's a cocktail in there, there's real estate posts in there, there's a testimonial in there, there's something about me teaching in there, like all of my pillars show up. But it would be boring if I were just posting one or two. You know what I mean? It's boring. And here's the deal. There's also a big difference between what are called vanity metrics. And I'm sure you guys can assume like some of what that is, like vanity metrics versus real actionable metrics. And so, sometimes like posting, like anytime I post a picture of me, and I'm sure this is the same with y'all, you get more likes. Like people like to see FaceTime stuff. However, that might not actually be the thing that converts, but you need both. And that's a big, big part of it. So like promoting and engaging and having the variety on both, like I don't post a ton in my stories, but that would be where I would do the more one-off like behind the scenes. I love a behind the scenes in the stories. Cool. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else?
I just love what you said about should. I wrote the word should down with a big X through it because I always have it in my brain like, oh, I should post this because everybody else is. But if you don't like
Yeah.
it, don't do it. And I love that. So it's very,
If
very
it
new to
feels
see.
out of alignment, you're going to feel icky. Like our body
Yeah.
knows when something feels icky. So it's like, but identify like, where is the ick? Is there something that you can post instead? Like, honestly, when I started posting what you should know instead of a market update, I was like, ew,
Wow.
that's so boring. You know? And when I started posting the other thing, I was like, oh, like now this is fun. Now this feels like me. So, you can like maybe take what's the end result? If I want a client to know that I'm a market expert, then how can I do that in a way that can flow through me, basically? Yeah, because some of the shoulds, I mean, some of it you should do, like you should call your
Right.
database, like that's real. If you want to make any money, of course.
Yeah, but
Cool.
putting it on that different angle. I also wanted to ask you, okay, some of the things that I'm passionate about could be something that, is too much, like my faith,
Hmm.
Christianity, not everybody, and they're like, they don't want to hear it.
Hmm.
Another thing I'm very passionate about is, like domestic violence and abuse and that kind of stuff. Should that just not at all be in there? Like, are there some topics that are too,
So I do think going overly political or overly religious is challenging. However, however, is it easier to work with, or do you prefer to work with someone that also believes that domestic violence is a bad thing, and that Christianity, or your faith is important, or that it's at least not going to alienate them? That's one of the things, like, I used to cover my tattoos because I thought that it would make people think that I was not who, I don't know, that I was smart or that I was, I don't know, something. Like, I didn't exactly know. But what I know now, because I'm a spiritual person, not a traditional Christian person. But what I know is that I have tons of very traditional, no alcohol drinking people in my network, and they still love me. Like literally, my clients that are sober, like one of them was like, "Here, we got this bottle of champagne for you." I'm like, "Oh my God, like what a joy!" So I do think that maybe you don't want to be like judgy about it, but if it's just a way of empowering others or creating awareness around something, I just don't think that you're going to alienate as many people as you would probably bring in. I think I've brought in more people by leaning into like tattoo culture than I have alienated people because at least I have a point of view. Like at least you have a backbone? Yeah. Whew, I get excited. Okay, I get like hot and sweaty when I get on my tangents. All right. Anybody else? I know it's right at 12 o'clock now. Cool.
I
Well,
just
I
say
want to thank
something
you guys.
too.
Yeah.
I just want to what take out. It's definitely, I think it's what it teaches me, and I'm sure a lot of us. It's just standing out. Like you definitely somebody I would be attracted as a real estate agent, and that's what I think attracted to you. And I think I will definitely take out for me like the pillars, I like how we not should be just focused, be real estate agents, and it's all about real estate. I like how the pillars, of your life interest, other things, and love of your city
Yes.
and everything kind of connect together, and out there. So I really love that. So I think it definitely
Yeah.
helped a lot. Thanks.
And one thing that's cool, so when you guys get that strategy organizer, be sure to open up your spam folder. It always goes to the spam folder. You'll get an
Right.
email from
Right.
me. But just know that one of the things on the last tab is my touch plan. You'll notice that my events that I do every year I do a happy hour on brand. I do a yoga event on brand. And then I do a Halloween event on brand. And my yoga event sells out. Like, how cool is that? But and here's the deal, like, now I have yoga buddies to like go to like try out different classes with. And so, like, this is, in my opinion, like an integration and like how we harmonize, like, living and breathing real estate so that it doesn't feel as much like work, that
Yes.
it just feels like living?
Yes. That's what I like
Yeah.
about it. Definitely
Awesome.
the
Awesome.
brand. You're the brand for sure.
Yes, yes, yes. And so are you. No. Awesome, awesome. Well,
Thank
thank you guys so, so much. If y'all have any questions, I'm very easy to find. My name is Winnie Rodgers with a D. But I just want to also thank Leah for having me on and having this opportunity to share this with you guys. So thank you guys so much. Bye.